Good to meet you guys.
Good to meet you too. Thanks a lot.
How's it going today?
It's going great.
Excellent. Where are you located?
I'm currently in Munich in Germany.
Okay.
And I'm in the Philippines.
You're in the Philippines?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's an interesting confluence of continents right now. I'm in Kansas City, Missouri, so we're kind of spaced out all over the map right now.
Right.
So again, thank you for taking a minute out. And, before we get into your work, I want to know first and foremost, we kind of look at the calendar right now, and it's the 4-year anniversary of living through this pandemic, and it really did a lot for all of us in various ways. How did you guys get through this pandemic, and how did it change you?
So, yeah, I think it was quite challenging for me personally. I have some family losses during this pandemic, and was not what was a tough time, to be honest. But I think I'm glad to be back to normal life and normal teaching. And so I think for me, I'm responsible for the lab, so it's kind of I still got a chance to travel to work and work in my office. But for my family, for my kids specifically, I could see how they were struggling, getting with the studies, and so it was not easy. But thank God. I mean, I think it's going well now. And Wallace, what do you think? How is it going for you?
For me, like my dad and my mom had a really scary moment there when we thought we would like lose both of them. So it was kind of like for us kind of like a back to the basics, like what important for you, who are the most important, and like going back to that, like kind of like less on the let's say the ostentatious, like less on the excesses, but like really focusing on what are most essential and most critical, not just in terms of the things or what you want to do, but also with the people that you want to be communicating with, that you want to be surrounded with.
Yeah, well said. So before we get into your work and how you guys got together, I want to know first and foremost, so everybody understands exactly who you are and what you do. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of third graders at Career Day, and one of the kids is curious and says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How would you each answer that?
So I would say that's a really good, great question. And so I would say I'm a researcher. So I'm a person who studies the brain, how our brain works, and how our basic cognitive functions like memory, processing, attention are represented in our brain. So what happens in the brain that makes us remember things better or not remember things better, how overcome different conflicts and process emotions. I'm also working with students. So I'm a university. I work at university. I'm teaching students and helping them learn and share whatever I've learned in the lab with the students. So then, they can move on to be researchers, therapists, work in industry somewhere, having this information about the basic knowledge of how the brain functions.
Wonderful.
So if I were to be in front of a third grader, I would say, uh, I am like your second dad, and I'm here to help you to become better in every which way. And if you have like goals in life, I will be here to sit down with you and to help you, uh, if not totally achieve them, but get closer to your goals. And if you don't have goals yet, and that's fine, I will help you to start to think about setting goals, if that's something that you might be interested to be doing.
So before we get into how you two met and how your work began, what did you want to be in the third grade? Go back to when you were in the third grade. What was your dream to grow up and become?
I cannot honestly, I cannot remember. I mean, I was changing professions as I was growing up, and I remember that I wanted to be a surgeon, And for a long time, for many years, I wanted to be a doctor, and I loved biology for this reason in class, and like learning maths was really interesting. And then later on, when I at some stage somehow decided to be a psychologist and ending up in anatomical room looking at the brains and do the brain dissections, I realized I wouldn't be able to be a surgeon. I'm not, not maybe the something for me. But I love being a psychologist, and yeah, that's who I
Okay.
am.
Okay.
Thank you, Artyom.
Yeah.
As a
Right.
third grader, I had no idea what I wanted to do at that time.
So,
Yeah.
so let me ask you this. How did this relationship start? Talk to me about the beginnings.
Okay, so maybe I can share that. So I was in my I was running a school at the time, and I've been a school headmaster for 14 years, and I was during that time I wanted to find a program that will help our students optimize their learning, because I noticed that the approach by our school and by many other schools would be to focus on the curricula. It's really like teaching content subjects, and I felt that it's well, it's good and that's necessary, of course. That's what schools are for. But it was lacking in the sense that there was not enough emphasis on teaching students how to learn better, and in a way that's research based, and that's structured, and that's something that will really help them optimize the limited time and energy that they might have. So I decided to take up to study masters in educational leadership, and then later on PhD in educational psychology to learn more. And I was so amazed and I was so surprised that at the time that there were like so many really good research studies. Unfortunately, though, it's they're very technical, and there's a barrier, there's a paywall for many of these great journals. And with that, it was around the time that I met Artyom.
And for me, I mean, it was about 3 years ago now, and my son went to first grade 3 years ago, and struggled a lot and still is struggling. And I didn't really have anyone like a school headmaster or someone who I could just ask directly and, have such a, easy conversation. What can I do? What can I change in my relationship with the school or teachers, or what should I do there? And Wallace back then just suggested, why, you're a cognitive neuroscientist. Why don't you, dive into research and see what's going on? Because in my in my work, what I work with younger adults, so whatever brain functions we're measuring, these are in students who are 18 to 40 years old. So that's our target age most of the time. And I've never worked with kids before. And at that time, I thought, I mean, that's the time, I know how to read scientific literature. I know how to interpret statistics, the research methods that studies are using. So I dived into it. And it was a lot of research studies that we read through with Wallace together and discussed, spent hours. And at some point, Wallace suggested, so why don't we share this with everyone? Because it's really valuable information that we've collected over the years, and it would be great to share it. And that's how the book project started. And here we are now, some years later. Yeah.
Excellent. So, who have you admired in your field or otherwise? Who's been kind of a hero for you that's fueled your pursuits and your research and just kind of getting to another place?
I mean, given that we read a lot and write a lot and talk a lot about education and child development in this sensitive age of going to school, I would say that Professor Pintrich would be that hero to me. So this is a really famous researcher who ran a lot of studies and wrote a lot of articles on child development and school education and what they called a self-actualized learners. So basically, it's sort of basic principles that are research backed, that would define a person who is continuously learning and studying. So a lot of our works, a lot of our views are shaped by Professor Pinterich, and yeah, that is the person I truly admire.
For me, I really admire Da Vinci, and a, a big part of like our approach was like we like to look at things like in an interconnected, holistic manner. And in my mind, like when I was still younger, and I learned about how Da Vinci had mastered so many like disciplines, and these are like disciplines that are not necessarily you would think like are connected or related, but he was able to master them, and he was able to flourish and really make an impact. And to me, that's such a there's so much brilliance there, and I kind of like modeled my life in terms of learning to a large extent, where I wanted to challenge myself to learn different disciplines in trying to be kind of like Da Vinci in my own mind.
Da Vinci's amazing. I actually went to Italy and saw a lot of the drawings that he would do, because he always wrote with both hands, and the amount of engineering feats along with the art and everything. I mean, the amount of things that he was doing, his sleep schedule and all of that was just absolutely amazing. My uncle Rico, who's one of my favorite people ever, he's passed, but when he was living in New York, before I went to Italy, he was telling me how Da Vinci was his favorite person ever. And I bought him a marble bust when I was out there. And it was probably one of the best gifts I ever bought and gave anybody. It was so much fun. And it
Oh,
was such a cool bust. But anyway,
oh
I was just
my.
floored by how much he did. And I didn't realize it till I really dug into his history. It's amazing.
Mm.
Right, in
So
our book, we have a lot of chapters, like, speaking about different aspects of education, and Da Vinci would be probably the person who you could just, use as an historical example again and again and again, to such a degree that Wallace at some point said that Da Vinci is his sort of a hero or someone he admires, and a kind of self-associates. So we speak about a way that when students are learning, and one of the way to motivate a student to learn would be to have an internal image of someone you would like to be. This pushing the student or aligning everyone, like the whole behavior of a student, with this self-image. And for Wallace, in many ways, that was the Da Vinci.
So let me ask you this: what is your ultimate goal as a professional with you both have very clear pursuits. You're wanting to get to the bottom of it. What is your ultimate goal? What would be something that you could a breakthrough or an accomplishment that would make you feel really good?
In my professional life, or as a researcher, that would be doing a good research. We study function of long-term memory and long-term memory guided attention in the brain. So my ultimate goal would be to try to get to the core of it, whatever we're studying, as much as possible, answer some challenging question we still have in the area. Something that many people are kind of in our labs and in our area striving to answer. So, and as a father, for me, would be the ultimate goal would be to help my children learn better, help them along the way, and reduce the struggle, and do whatever I can as a father, as a researcher, to help them. And if I can along the way also share this information I've learned practically and through research with everyone, with other parents out there who could benefit as well, that would be just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar to Artyom, it revolves around learning and wanting to help the different stakeholders, whether they are parents, whether they're like the learners themselves, whether they are the educators. But in essence, just because, as we can see, with so many new things coming up every single day, there's just so much that we really would either want to learn or should learn. And we only have so much time, energy, and effort, right? But if you're equipped, you're empowered, you're motivated, and you really believe that you can learn, that uh, if uh, if I am able to give the tools and the multivitamins of learning to each one, and I think I would be very happy that because in many ways when people learn better, their lives become better in in one form or the other. And that's the reason why we started off with the parent edition in our book, because with parents, parents are such great influencers, so influential in the lives of their children, and we want to be very strategic in the way we would make this kind of impact.
So every day you wake up, you're motivated to do your work. You're also motivated to evolve as a human. What is that ultimate motivation for each of you every day to do the work that you do and to do it as well as you can?
One of the driving forces that we advocate for and speak about a lot is the intrinsic motivation. So the best approach to help a child learn would be to find a subject that they love doing, or if there is something that you sometimes need to learn, but which kids may not love, would be to have a task value in the subject, or build an internal image in a child that they would like to align their behavior with. And for me, what drives me, I would say exactly this, the intrinsic motivation. I love what I'm doing. And my day starts really early, earlier than most of, I think, my friends and family members at least. And I wake up really happy to do what I'm doing. So I'm really eager to research. I'm really eager to read the articles, and then do lab work, teach, write up manuscripts. So I would say, if it's one word to describe it all, I would say the intrinsic motivation, the love for what I'm doing.
Yeah, in similar to Artyom, like I wake up very early because I'm excited to impact people's lives. And in our organization where we publish books related to learning, test preparations, it's such a it's also such a big motivator for me to wake up every single day, because we have such a grand, big vision of what we want to accomplish, but at the same time, being excited about the baby steps that we're doing every single day. So it's kind of like a long-term and short-term thinking. Like we have this great vision of like, okay, what we want to accomplish, but at the same time, recognizing that we have to take it like one step at a time. So these are the things that excite me and uh, push me forward every single day.
So you've talked about what you would like to accomplish. So I'm curious, at this point in your lives, what are you the proudest of that you've done so far?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I could be completely proud of something so far. I'm proud of my kids. I'm proud of who they are, how like if their characters and their personality. I love my kids very much, and um, I'm yeah. I don't know what to answer, to be honest. Sorry.
No, you answered it just fine. Yeah. No, that's a great answer.
Artyom is very humble because he has published so many journals, but at the end of the day, Artyom is very is most excited about his family. That's his top of mind. But yeah, for me, of course, like my family is also my priority. So when my daughter graduated from her school after a series of studies as well, and finally started working, It's that's such a big sense of fulfillment as a dad. But in terms of career or work, profession, to me, it's like when we took over a small school in the Philippines, and at that time I was an entrepreneur. I wasn't yet into education, but eventually that small school became one of the largest schools in the Philippines, and if not Southeast Asia, then that was like, to me, it's like oh, okay, this is like a wonderful. I mean, I had collaborators in achieving that, but I played my part, and I'm very happy with that in making that happen.
So if anyone out there wants to indulge in any of your writings, books, articles, anything, essays, where's the best place for them to go or reach out to you? How can people get in touch?
So our book is available at Amazon. You just type Wisest Learners. And we also have a webpage, wisestlearners.com, where we put all information about the book, and we have a blog post section where we also have some articles that we our opinions and thoughts on modern educational issues and important points. So yeah, please, if you're interested, one could go and check out wisestlearners.com.
Excellent. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for this. This has been quite a geographical bridge here to have this conversation. So it's wonderful to meet you. Best of luck with the book. Best of luck with everything and getting to that place you want to get to in your career.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.